the story that I like to tell, which is not an unusual story in our community, is my parents owned a convenience store and they worked every single day for 8 consecutive years. That's Christmas and New Year's. That's what I grew up in. First job that I took, which was Bain & Company, I showed up on Saturday with a suit because I assumed that was a working day, right? So the work ethic that I'm also looking to pass down to my kids is, I think, the key driver. I think that's who I am, and that was something that was, bred into you as a young kid. I think part of the reason that young people will tend to have a higher propensity to do startups, and not necessarily because they're naturally entrepreneurial, right? A lot of people who start in their 20s, these aren't necessarily the best entrepreneurs. Like it's their first business, right? But when you're 20 years old and you're not married and you don't have kids and all you do is hang out with your buddies all day, right, in the apartment, it's pretty easy to hack together some code and build and launch a service, whether it's an app or kind of a web service. So it's not hard to do. Okay, so what I always look at in young people is, do they have it in them? Is it there? What did they do when they were 14? Tell me the 13 ideas that you thought about before you started college. That's the real entrepreneur. That's the person who can't get enough of it. It's a drug for them, right? I have 30,000 ideas. 2,963 were terrible. But I had them. I couldn't stop thinking of these ideas. So are you thinking about those ideas? Are you continuously trying to attack markets? Or are you doing it because everyone's doing it and it's kind of cool, right? Because this is what happened during the dot-com craze. So I think people who stick with it during the crash are the ones that you really want to back. That's what I would say. I mean, there's lots of 20-year-olds starting business, and a lot of them are going to do great. But at the end of the day, you want to find the one that was going to do it anyways when there was no market, You have to know how much money you're going to need to take the company to where you need to take it, right? Because the biggest component of your time, especially initially, 2 big components. One is getting your product out to market, marketing it, and raising money, right? So you have to have those 3 things done. So you have to understand how much capital it's going to take to get you to where you want to go, right? So if it's going to take you 3 million, 10 million, 50 million, whatever it may be, to reach a specific milestone, right? So you have to know how much that is, and then you have to make sure that you put a plan in place to be able to go sell your product, your vision to investors to get that money. So I think that's very important. I would definitely encourage him, but I would also have him or her figure out a business model. I think there's nothing drives success, true long-term success and resiliency of a company than actually having a business that can make money or has a path to make money or has valuable assets that it's building. So have a business model in mind. Sometimes it's hard to do because you're developing these products that perhaps may be a feature for a company like a Google. But I have no interest in those businesses. I mean, it's not the business I'm building. My business is not in the crosshairs of Google and Apple. We're creating a whole new category. So I would encourage people to have a business model, and I would tell them that get ready to put 10 years of your life into it because that's what it's going to take to build a great company.